What's up, mates? Let's talk about Rizal's romantic interlude in Japan, 1888. One of the happiest interludes in the life of Rizal was his sojourn in the land of the cherry blossoms in February 28 to April 13, 1888. He fell in love with a Japanese girl, whose loveliness infused joy and romance in his heart. Her real name was Seiko Usui. Rizal affectionately called her Zero-se-san. February 28, 1888, Tuesday morning, Rizal arrived in Yokohama. He registered at the Grand Hotel. March 2 to 7. Rizal proceeded to Tokyo and took a room at Tokyo Hotel. Rizal was visited at his hotel by Juan Perez Caballero, secretary of the Spanish legation. The latter invited him to live at the Spanish legation. Spanish diplomatic authorities were instructed from Manila to monitor his movements in Japan. He accepted the invitation for two reasons. 1. He could economize his living expenses by staying at the legation, and 2. He had nothing to hide from the prying eyes of the Spanish authorities. March 7. Rizal checked out of Tokyo Hotel and lived at the Spanish legation. He and Perez Caballero became good friends. During his first day in Tokyo, Rizal was embarrassed because he did not know the Japanese language. He looked like Japanese but he could not talk Japanese. Rizal studied Japanese language and he was able to speak it within a few days. He also studied the Japanese drama, kabuki, arts, music, and judo, Japanese art of self-defense. He visited Meguro, Nikko, Hakone, Miyanoshita, and charming villages of Japan. March 1888, it was a beautiful spring afternoon. Rizal was promenading in a street of Tokyo near a park. Rizal admired and wondered how Japanese people have assimilated the modern European music to the extent of playing the beautiful musical masterpieces of the great European composers. Rizal was favorably impressed by Japan. Things which favorably impressed Rizal in Japan were: 1. The beauty of the country, its flowers, mountains, streams, and scenic panoramas. 2. The cleanliness, politeness, and industry of the Japanese people. 3. The picturesque dress and simple charm of the Japanese women. 4. There were very few thieves in Japan, so that the houses remained open day and night, and in the hotel room one could safely leave money on the table. 5. Beggars were rarely seen in the city streets, unlike in Manila and other cities. Osei-san, Seiko Usui, a samurai's daughter, 23 years old and a pretty Japanese girl whom Rizal was attracted by her regal loveliness and charm. Together, they visited the interesting spots of the city, the Imperial Art Gallery, the Imperial Library, the universities, the Shokubatsuen, Botanical Garden, the city parks, particularly Hibiya Park, and the picturesque shrines. Rizal's great love for Osei-san is attested by the hero's diary. With this tenderly tragic entry in his own diary, Rizal bade farewell to lovely Osei-san. April 13, 1888, Rizal boarded the Belgic, an English steamer, at Yokohama, bound for the United States. He left Japan with a heavy heart, for he knew that he would never again see this beautiful land of the cherry blossoms and beloved Osei-san. Truly, his sojourn in Japan for 45 days was one of his happiest interludes in his life. Osei-san was broken-hearted by the departure of Rizal, the first man to capture her heart. About 1897, a year after Rizal's execution, she married Mr. Alfred Charlton, British teacher of chemistry of the Pierce School in Tokyo, and died on November 2, 1915, survived by Osei-san, whose real name was Seiko Usui, and their daughter Yuriko. Another passenger which Rizal befriended on board the Belgic was Tetrisu, a hero. Learning of his predicament, Rizal, who knew many foreign languages, including Japanese, befriended him and acted as his interpreter during their long trip from Yokohama to San Francisco, across the U.S. to New York until they reached London, where they parted. In 1890, Techo was elected as a member of the lower house of the First Imperial Diet, Japanese Parliament, where he carried on his fight for human rights. The following year, 1891, he published a political novel titled Nankai no Daiharan, Storm over the South Sea, which resembles Rizal's Noli Me Tangere in plot. 3 years later, 1894, he published another novel entitled O Onibara, The Big Ocean, which was similar to El Filibusterismo. Techo died of heart attack in Tokyo in February 1896, 10 months before Rizal's execution. He was then 49 years old. And that's the story of Rizal's romantic interlude in Japan, 1888. See you next time.